Right. Good evening, everybody. We're ready.
I guess we are.
Yes. We're getting ready. It's exciting around here.
It is.
The back row, we're going to have to do something about the back row.
They're getting wild back there.
Little rowdy.
Yes.
I separated people one time right in the middle of church. That made them go sit in other places. Go ahead, Sister Pam.
Okay, well, welcome to the Tuesday night roundtable at Healing River Worship Center. And we're excited about this. We have Lindsay Linder, right?
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes,
So,
you're right.
And she is a homeschooling mom, and you have 6 children.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and they're very well behaved, and they're delightful to be around.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. So we're going to talk to her about about homeschooling and why she decided to do that, what prompted her to dive into that, and anyway, so.
And the greatest question is, have you maintained your sanity?
Greg's right there. You should ask him. I'm not qualified to answer that.
Oh, man.
Well, let's start with prayer real
Yes.
quick. Father, I am so grateful to you that you give us the ability to teach our children. I thank you, Lord, that you have given us children because children are such a blessing to us. Your word says that when a man's quiver is full of arrows, and you say that those children are like arrows, that he's truly blessed. And I thank you, Father, that you have blessed us so much. I ask, Lord, that tonight as we discuss this topic, that people would be encouraged to maybe even step out and do some homeschooling themselves, and to just be, maybe just have the light come on about what homeschooling is really about. And Father, for those who are already doing this, maybe they'll have a word of encouragement that they need to hear as well. And Lord, I ask that you would bless Lindsay as she's speaking tonight. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
So, the first verse, I was going through Proverbs. I was looking for a particular verse, but I saw this one that I'd highlighted, and it just kind of made me think of you. A wise woman builds her house, and that's what I see you as doing. This is Proverbs 14:1. It says, "The foolish one tears it down with their own hands," but that is not what I see you doing at all. So you are a wise woman, and you're building your house.
Well, we haven't
trying.
always we haven't went and watched.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not always
no,
building.
but
There's been moments.
I'm sorry.
He's ornery tonight.
It's okay. It's good for me.
The ornery bug has been him and Damon tonight. Yeah. So, but I just see that, your kids are just, like I said, they're delightful to be around too. It's not like they seem like they're fearful of doing anything wrong. They're happy to be at church.
They are happy to be at church.
They actually smile.
They do.
Yeah, I'm pretty loud in here, ain't I? They actually smile when they're at church.
They do.
Yeah.
They don't act put out, and
Yes.
all that kind of stuff. We've been watching, saying, "What's this all about?" These
Yeah.
kids smile all the time,
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, it's God. It's not because I'm the smiliest person and Greg's the smiliest person in the world. It's
Yeah.
God.
They're, yeah.
And I have to trust that because I'm like, what are they smiling about?
Yeah,
Sometimes I wonder, but no, they understand the Lord so much better than I do most of the time, I feel like. And they have something to smile about. Even the quiet ones that don't get out there and, say hi to the world, like
Yeah.
little one out there.
yeah.
They all are secure in their.
Yeah,
Yes.
I told Betty after Sunday morning, you were down here on your knees and you were worshiping, and is it Joanna?
Joanna.
Joanna was sitting there on the steps, and she had your hand. She was holding your hand like this. And she was just mesmerized watching you worship. And I said, I thought, oh man, where is my camera? I need a picture of this, because she was sitting there she was just mesmerized and just in awe of her mama praying and worshiping. And I thought that was a really neat statement, that to see that she was learning, she was imitating. Our kids learn to imitate us. And my youngest granddaughter has got to where she just gives me this blank stare. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. She would just, I'd get on to her, she'd just give me this stare. It's like, was going to get into it. And she's been doing that a lot lately. And Sunday after church, I said something to her. She was up here on the platform, and I said something to her, and she just stopped and just stared at me. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, she's imitating me.
I remember that moment with my oldest.
Yeah, she was imitating me. And so I just walked up there and just stood there staring at her, and she just stared at me, and finally I said, sweetie, I can stare you down. And she goes, and just I didn't understand what she's doing for the longest time, and then I realized she's actually that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
And she's imitating me.
Right.
Yeah. So kids are imitators.
They are imitators.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. So we need to watch what we do, watch what we say, and be aware, don't
Yeah.
we? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had another verse here. This is very familiar. This is one I was looking for originally. It was Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So that's what you're doing. You're training them up.
That is my prayer.
Yeah.
That is my prayer.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Don't let him depart, God.
Yeah. So, so why did you decide to homeschool in the first place?
So I asked Greg this question because I knew that was going to be a question. I said, I know the answer that I will say. And the answer that I would say is because Greg told me to. And and I said, why did you say that? And he's like, I don't remember. He said, I must have read something or something, he's always reading something, watching video, getting information. And he said, I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. But yes.
I've got to stop you right there. You did something because your husband told you to?
Yeah, isn't that how it's supposed to go?
Everyone out there needs to learn something from that right there.
To be fair, he makes it really easy.
Okay.
We don't
Yeah.
butt heads all the time,
That's awesome.
just
Yeah.
occasionally,
Yeah.
but not a lot. And
Yeah.
But you had to have more than that.
yeah, I think, thinking about it, thinking about having this conversation and answering these questions, I was kind of, what am I doing? I know why I'm doing it, but they're going to ask me why I started. It was a God thing. God totally moved in that completely, because not very long before he was like, we're going to homeschool, he was like, we would never homeschool. We would never do that, right? Uh-huh. And so he went from this way to this way, and I was willing. I have an older sister who was homeschooling at that time, and so seeing her do it, it was not so daunting, and so.
How many kids did you have at this time?
Oh, maybe 2, but they were little. It was before preschool was an option. It was. Yeah. He had a son, and he was like, wait a second, I got to rethink my life.
Yeah.
He's like, actually, we're not letting this kid go ever.
Yeah.
That was part of it.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll start with preschool, and if no one, I didn't think we would butt heads, but we'll see how that goes, because I was pretty confident I could handle preschool. pretty confident.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I said, we'll take it a year at a time, and now it's just, we're here and we're doing it, and high school, here we are, and let's go do it.
Yeah, how old are your kids?
My oldest is 14, so he is a freshman. I have a 12-year-old, and he's a 7th grader. I'm trying to do the math because we don't do math like that math.
Yeah.
And then McKaylee is 10, 10, and so she's in 5th grade, and then 3rd grade, and you're 2, good. 5th grade, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, and a 2-year-old.
Okay.
So toddlerhood is fun to homeschool with. If anyone is out there homeschooling with a toddler, I promise you can do it. I'm just going to
Yep.
say, like, I feel like that's the hardest part so far that I've endured is with a toddler under your feet. Mommy, can we do it? Yeah, and all the things.
Uh-huh.
So, like cooking dinner with a toddler, that's fun and whatever, but it's only a short. Homeschooling with a toddler is something else. I've done it a little bit, but it is something else.
Yeah, yeah. So you've been able to keep up with this for how many years now?
So I will say I started with my oldest when he was like 3, and he's 14, so
About 11 years.
11 years-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not like, but yeah, anyway, we can
Yeah.
talk about the hows later, but.
Yeah.
I imagine you have to be very organized, don't you?
You should be very organized, yes.
Yes.
You should be very, I like that.
I am really currently fairly organized because we're living in a small space, and so there's only so much space to live in. So
Right.
there's some organization and some very minimal lifestyle things that are happening, which is great, but
Yeah.
Okay.
that's easier. Don't get all the things either.
Don't get-
Yeah.
Just throw out tips randomly.
What,
Yeah, good.
I'm probably jumping ahead on your questions, but
go ahead.
what kind of curriculum do you use?
Hey, that was the next question.
See?
Yeah.
Y'all are amazing. Okay, so we are using a curriculum called Classical Conversations, and it is a classical model of education that works towards how our developmental skills develop. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
How our skills develop, that's it. And I obviously was not taught like this. And so, you know, as little kids, they can learn anything. They can memorize anything. You give them all the little songs and repeat it, and they are, can we watch it again? Can we press play again? I like that song. Can we play that song again? That's my favorite song. So while they're being sponges at this age, you know, like toddlerhood to through about 6th grade, till they're about 12. The idea is that they're in this, what's called the poll parrot stage. And so we are shoving information into their heads as fast as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Memorize the laws of thermodynamics. And the 4-year-olds are like, thermodynamics. Like, they can't say it. It's great fun. And we teach them the laws of thermodynamics. And that's one of the, like, big things. They do their skip counting, and they do maps, and they've learned the timeline. I've learned so much, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I'm redeeming my own education. That's what homeschool moms like to say. Like, I'm redeeming my education. I get to learn
Wow.
something too.
That's great.
And they learn all of these things. And it is basically, it's called the Foundations Program in this community. We meet once a week
Okay.
and all do it together. And so we all learn the same things. We have families that we are meeting with and other moms that were like, my week was so terrible. Or, hey, do you have any ideas on how to keep my sanity? You know, like
Yeah.
we get to like come together and be like,
So it's like a co-op.
it's like a
Yes.
co-op, but it is different. But yes,
Okay.
structurally it's a little different, which is fine. But so we do call it a co-op sometimes, but it is a community where we are all doing the same thing all week. We are all on the same page. We are all following the same curriculum. And so the elementary years, we are just shoving all this information in their heads. Then about fourth grade, they add a writing program. And so they learn how to do some basic writing skills. You can, and you obviously do more than that before at home. You're doing some, like your math, and you have to teach your kid to read and teach your kid to write, you know.
Yeah.
But they are learning a whole bunch of just information. And then in the next stage is the dialectic stage. So they are junior high kids. Why can't I go to this party? Why do I have to take out the trash? Why, right?
Yeah.
So you know what we're going to do? We're going to teach them how to argue.
Teach them how to
We're
argue.
teaching them how to argue, but not poorly. We're teaching them how to argue well. So they get to call you out too, so it's fun. You get to learn how to argue too,
Yeah.
very well. But we're teaching them, when they want to know how to argue, we're teaching them how to do it right. We're teaching them
Wow.
logic. We're teaching them fallacies like straw man and all the things, right? So we're teaching them that, and they can look out in the world and be like, that is the red herring or whatever. Okay, so the idea is they're in this dialectic stage where they're starting to use this information and starting to understand how to use it a little bit better. And it's like, I like to tell people, one of the things, the foundations that they learn as little kids is I might sing the song, and I'm sorry, because we teach them by song a lot.
That's okay.
It's the geometry, all the geometry formulas, right? So the area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a square, length of its side squared. I can say it. Look at me. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
But they learn that, but they don't know how to use it. But then they get to this dialectic stage, and they're starting to learn how to use it. And so they're learning how to plug in formulas and how to do things like that. And they've been reading stories about all the history sentences that they've been learning. And so they're starting to kind of put things together. And so that's what's happening in the dialectic stage. And we're teaching them to argue and teaching them and giving them things to argue about. And through this curriculum, you're giving them things to argue about. In 8th grade, which is the class that I teach at our co-op, we do a mock trial. And they do amazing. We did it last year for the first time. I had my oldest. And it's impressive to watch these kids jump up there and act like they know what they're doing, even though they've never seen a courtroom scene on TV.
Wow.
Like, I mean, there's plenty of like fumbling, but they get up there, they speak well, we've worked all semester on these pieces of getting this done. And they jump up there and they just like bust it out. And it's amazing because you're just, the people at the courtrooms are a lot of times like, oh, we don't have adults that can do that.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
yeah, most people aren't taught to reason and
Right.
and think for themselves,
Right,
and so they don't know how to do that.
yeah,
They just know how to express,
Blah, blah, blah.
have an emotional explosion.
right.
Right.
And so now don't think that we're perfect. We could have stuffed in my class a couple of times. Why do we have to learn Latin? The drama mama. But it's hard, and so
Yeah.
we can do hard things, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's rigorous. Like, it's a rigorous curriculum that we're doing. Once you hit junior high, we are burning rubber, and you are going.
Yeah.
My 12-year-old that just entered 7th grade is like, I think I can. It's just, there's a jump up in expectations from 6th grade to 7th grade, from
Right.
elementary to junior high. And then there's
Right.
another jump from junior high to high school.
Right.
It's the same, we all did that in school.
Right.
So yeah, and then the third stage is this high school stage, like really the sophomore through senior, and it's called the rhetorical stage. Now they're able to take all this information. They've learned to kind of dig in it, and now they're able to make something of it and even teach it. And that's kind of the successful, like, you've got it. If you could teach something and teach it well, you got it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what you're talking about.
Right.
So that's the rhetorical stage. And if you think about it, we do this all the time. We're just teaching them how to learn. So with this Latin stuff, we're teaching them how to learn. They start it in 7th grade, but we're like, hey, you have to go back to the grammar stage, to that Poll Parrot moment in your life where you have to memorize all these endings, these noun endings and verb endings, and learning all this stuff and all the vocabulary and all the rules for how languages work. So you have to memorize things and then move into translating, how to translate. And so, but they get a lot of repetition in that. They get a lot of repetition. There's several things that we do 3 years of. You hit the same thing 3 years in a row, just to like get it good. We didn't get that opportunity in traditional school settings. And it doesn't matter if it's private school or public school or whatever, that's not. But it's harder when it's standardized, like it is. So we're hitting like this, for Latin, we hit that in 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, like the same part. Like you use the same book for those 3 years, but the first year you do like the first third of it, and then the second year you start over and review that first third and then get the second third. And then the third year, you'll do the whole book. So, but it's just those foundational skills, we're pounding those into their heads.
Yeah.
Because that initial thing. And so by the time they get done, they end up reading, I think they end up translating the Iliad, like from Latin to English.
Wow.
And so, I have not experienced it yet, but I hear great things. And you see these kids, if they come to speak, I saw a panel of Challenge 4 kids, the seniors, one time, seniors and just graduated. They were amazing. And they came, because every summer we have a parent practicum where all the parents get together and are like, what are we doing here? Let's remind us and, learn some things ourselves. Because none of us were taught in this classical way. And so these kids got up on stage, passed a microphone around like it was not a big deal. And one of the questions that the parents asked was, what do you wish your parents would have done differently for your education? And their moms are sitting out there, right?
Right.
Like, call your mom out in front of all of us, would you? That was literally the question. Like, call your mom out in front of us. What did she do wrong?
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
And they got up there, they were thoughtful, and they all pretty much had the same question, the same answer. They were all like, yeah, that's it. They should have held me more accountable.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
What teenager says that? What 18-year-old stands up there and says, man, I wish my mom would have held me a little more accountable?
Wow.
And then, but they spoke well. They were able to speak to a lot of the things, and a lot of the younger moms anyway, it was impressive.
Wow.
They speak impressively well. But they've been doing since they were 4, they've been doing a little presentation every week and getting up in front of their little class and saying here's my bunny, and I like it because, and da-da-da-da, and practicing speaking up, practicing all the things.
Wow.
So they're learning how to do public speaking, not to be afraid.
Yes.
That's just really amazing.
Learning how to debate.
Yes.
How to debate and how to do it.
So
the
what
right
do you
way.
do when they use that on you?
You better hope you got it.
You better hope you got it. Greg, what do you do when your kids use this thing they've learned?
Every now and again, because Dad said so card has to come out.
The dad said so. I like that. Because I'm in authority here, that's why.
No, and we have used that. Sometimes it's like, here's the deal, I'm not going to explain it to you.
Yeah,
I'm okay with telling my kids I'm not going to explain something to them.
yeah,
They know that I have their best interest at heart. They know that I'm not there to spoil all their fun just because,
yeah.
right? So, yeah, they usually accept it okay
Yeah,
in front of us,
okay.
So is that what you started out with? Or did you start out with any
Yes,
other?
ultimately, yes. I started classical conversations when Rayford was 5. You can start it when they're 4, but we didn't learn about it till he was 5. My sister called me maybe in July and said, hey, so I have a younger sister that also has a daughter Rayford's age. So I have an older sister with older kids, and then me and my younger sister have kids all the same ages. And she was like, guys, I found something. And my older sister had been piecing it together and making her own curriculum. And that was not how I was going to live my life. I was going to go buy a box curriculum and follow it and do whatever I could and drown.
Yeah.
Promise.
Yeah.
And she told me about this and about this process. And I thought, yes. And she said, you know how when you learn to drive, you get tossed in the front seat? Well, I mean, we were farm kids, so we learned to drive, on the back roads and all the things. But some of these kids get tossed in the front seat when they're 14, 15 with their learner's permit, and they're like, what's this round thing in front of me? They have to learn what a steering wheel is, where the accelerator is, what it does, the brake, the shifting. They have to know all the pieces, and then they have to learn how to and do it all at the same time.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So the grammar would be like, this is a steering wheel and it turns. This is So a lot of kids obviously do know the basics, right?
Right.
But then the dialectic is like making it go and stop, right? Because that's a whole situation. And then you get in and turn. But then you get into like traffic, and that's a whole different level of the playing field.
Right.
So these kids are learning that all at once, right? A lot of kids do learn that all at once. And so it's kind of overwhelming. But if you take it one step at a time, then you're less likely to go off the rails, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like that. Anything you learn, you're going to have to learn the grammar of it, the basics of it, the nuts and bolts, and then learn how to use it, and then really learn how to use it. Because there's I can do this, but I can do this, right? There's a difference between, like I was saying before, I can do projects at home, but he can do projects at home.
Yeah.
There's a different level. I'm dialectic in a lot of things. He's rhetorical in a lot of things,
Yes.
and a lot more things. So, but it's that way in everything.
Okay. Wow. So, so what are some of the harder things about homeschooling? I mean,
Homeschooling with a toddler.
yes.
I am trying to figure out how to get this thing across the table to this other human, this concept, and you want a cheese stick.
Yeah.
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 If I break my concentration now, it's never coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it feels like that, right? So you're
Yeah.
pulled in a lot of different directions.
Uh-huh.
I think logistically, that's a hard thing.
Right.
A hard thing for a lot of people is they don't have support of their family. They don't have support of their husband or their spouse, if it's, I guess, the husband, but they don't have the support in their house, but then they might not have support from parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and whatever.
And we already have a society that is kind of, although I think we've seen an explosion of homeschooling, especially after COVID. I think once people, they saw what what the kids were actually learning, because they said, oh, we can do this online. And then parents were like, what have you been teaching my kids?
It has increased. Then there's, it has increased the people that have brought their kids home and said, we're not doing whatever you're doing. There's also the states, I'm going to say many states, I'm assuming many states, because I know Texas, and I'm pretty sure Missouri does, has the public school has an online thing that you can do at home. So you're still doing the state's curriculum, you're doing it at home, so that's homeschooling, using the state's curriculum. And I'm like, more power to you, because at least mom and dad can see what's coming across the screen, you
Right.
know? I mean, but it's like anything else, if you're not gonna pay attention to it, then you're not gonna get you're gonna miss, right? As a
Right.
parent, you have to be in the middle of your kids' lives completely.
Yeah.
And I learned that from my dad. He was smack dab in the middle of our life all the time. And my mom worked at the school we went to, so
Yeah.
where are you going? Why are you going there? Who are you going with? And what's
Yep.
his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I had that too.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, it has exploded, and I think a lot of people did end up sending kids back, but there's a lot of people that kept their kids home.
Yeah.
Well, you actually act like you enjoy this. I mean, when you talk about it, it's not like this is a task you're having to do. You seem to be really invested in it.
I told my kids today, I was like, I like you guys.
I
I
like
want to
you.
hang out with y'all.
That's a good
Well,
plus.
Y'all are fun
to
people
like
to
your
hang out with.
children.
We don't hear that very often.
Yeah.
Most homeschoolers, I'm just going to be honest, most homeschoolers are pulling their hair out. And, you know, there's been a lot of parents that have tried, especially moms, that have tried homeschooling, and the drama gets so intense that they give it up. They feel defeated. So, you know, you seem to be invested. You actually seem to enjoy the teaching and the learning. You know, you're learning yourself. And by the way, I've never heard of this type of curriculum. And I'm thinking, where was that when I was growing up?
Yes.
Can you teach us too?
Yeah,
Can we
yeah,
hang out?
yeah. We're going to
Sure.
come back to school
Sure.
at the lender's
Y'all
house.
can come to our community and be grandparents.
Yeah,
We should have a grandparents' day. That'd be awesome.
but you know, I've just been watching you talk about it, and I study body language and eyes all the time, and you're talking like this is yours. It's not something
It
you're
is.
just doing.
It's her passion.
You actually own this, and you're invested in it and you enjoy it. So there's so many homeschool parents that I've talked to that's not the story. It's usually just total frustration. We tried to homeschool for a little bit, and you know, we used a computer program and got the boys computers, and we thought they were doing we were amazed at how well they were making straight A's, and we were amazed at how well they was doing. And so, you know, we thought we are the success of homeschoolers because our sons were doing so well until we found out that they figured out mom's password. And they was able to get into the master. And so they were actually getting in and getting all the answers and just filling in the blanks.
Look at them. They at least didn't just change the grade. Come on, there's a silver lining, folks.
Yeah.
There's a
Give
silver
'em-
lining here, okay?
Give them an A on hacking a computer. I
No,
mean, you
let's
know.
not get that.
But yeah, we were quite disappointed.
I will tell you, I've had some moments like that where I thought things were going And I turned around and I'm like, where are you? We
Yeah.
were going this way and you are, been there. I have a moment that is similar. And I was like, well, look at all the work you have to catch up on.
Lucky you.
Your summer just turned into summer school. Sorry. I mean, so I'm going to say if you are sanding a board, which way do you sand it? With the grain, right?
Right.
If you are sanding across the grain, it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be, no one's going to like it. The wood's not, you're not. The person that runs their hand across it, no, nobody likes it. And that's what I like about this model. Classical Conversations is just a company that created this curriculum, but this philosophy, this classical philosophy of education, it makes sense, right? Like, you have to know that this is a phone and that there's buttons on it and how to get to it. And then you have to, like, we all get a new phone and we're like, what do we do with this thing, right? So
Right.
you have a learning curve.
Right.
You
Right.
know it's a phone, you know where there's buttons, you know a little bit about it, but then there's that, I mean, I don't know how many of us would say we're rhetorical with our phones.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I haven't updated in a long time.
Yeah.
Accurate, because then you have to learn 5 other things, and
Yeah.
who has it? So, you know what I mean? Like, we're constantly going through this process of the grammar stage, the dialectic stage, and the rhetorical stage. And every time we want to learn something new, every time you get up here and talk science and give a lesson, you have to go to the grammar stage and say, this is what I'm talking about, and then explain it, right? And you know that. You know I can't use quarks and leptons, or they're going to, like, brains are going to explode in the crowd, and you can't do that. You have to, like, make it work. So you have to do that grammar stage, and then the dialectic. You can live in dialectic, right? You can get by. But if you want to be rhetorical and understand it and have to teach it, then that requires more effort, right?
Right.
So I'm just going to say, like, I think a lot of people are trying to do school at home because that's what we did. We went to school at 8 o'clock. We had our 6 classes, and then we were done at 3. And that's what people expect to happen. They
Right.
expect, we're going to wake up. We don't have to wake up at 6 to go to school. We can wake up at 7. Cool. We can have this nice, beautiful breakfast every day and go through all of our work and then be done by 3 or whatever, okay? Right?
Right.
Don't we think that?
Yeah.
And then at noon, you're like, we haven't even finished the thing we were supposed to do at 8 o'clock, and y'all are drumming in, right?
Yeah. Right.
That has never happened at my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the time.
All the time. Early on, it was a whole, I mean, and I say early on, there's moments, some days where it is a thing, okay? But if you can go with the grain of how people develop and people, right? How our
Right.
brains work, then you are going to have a smoother. And I'm not saying the classical model is the only model. I'm not saying that at all. There's all sorts of models that you could look up. But I found one I liked, and I'm not getting out of this rut. I'm here.
Well, I think one of the things that impresses me about it is that you're teaching them how to learn, like you were saying. So all their lives, that's what they're going to learn. Okay, if I want to learn about this subject, this is how I learn about it. Instead
That's
of
exactly it.
yeah,
Teaching people how to self-educate is the most important thing.
yeah,
And most school don't teach you they teach you what to learn, but they don't teach you how to learn.
Right.
Right.
And
They just teach you to put on the test.
I've said for years, and because of my experience in school, it wasn't good, because I had a totally different way of learning. And I come up with my own stuff. And to this day, I come up with my own stuff, my own algorithms for things. You know, I do it how it makes sense in my head. Yeah. And I've said for years that if we could change this and start developing the strengths of these children, then their strengths will take care of the weakness. But if we can just invest in the strengths of children, and all their strengths are different, and we spend all of our time trying to fix the weaknesses, the things that kids aren't good at, and we never develop the things that they are good at. And so if we can turn that around and start, and that sounds like kind of how you guys, what this is tracking on is you know, developing how kids learn. You know, I come up with and some teachers hate it when I say this, but I said I didn't have a learning disability. School had a teaching disability because I can learn.
You said that the other day, and I was like, get him. I was in the nursery, though, so you didn't hear me and Alicia. We were, like, cheering you on really hard that day. But
I mean, I went all the way through school, and I graduated. And but I never learned how they were teaching. I never learned, you know, I had to develop all my own ways of doing things because my brain works in patterns. And so I learn in patterns. I learn in cycles. I learn in, you know, I see patterns. I see cycles. I see, you know, everything is like a big puzzle. And
you would love our math curriculum.
Huh?
I said you would love our math curriculum.
I created my own math.
Yeah.
But so, you know, I couldn't learn in the way that they were presenting it. So I had to try to create my own thing, which, you know, I can't imagine a teacher with 30, 35 kids trying to teach in a classroom and they can't specialize in one child. And so those kids just fall through the cracks, you know. And I had one teacher, and I've said this before, I had one teacher in school that in my 5th grade year, her name was Mrs. Nichols. And she was the fun teacher. The other teachers hated her because her classroom was always bursting out in laughter. And you could hear it all over the school. That's awesome. And the other teachers would tell us, when you get in Mrs. Nichols' class, please don't act like that. But you get in Miss Nichols' class, and you understand why they're laughing. And, you know, she was just totally different. And so consequently, in 5th grade, I didn't get one paneling, and I made good grades all the way through. You know, real good grades. I missed a question on a test one time, and she called me up to my desk. She said, Tim, come up to my desk. And I thought, well, here we go. It's time to fight. You know, I'm putting on the boxing gloves. We're going to the floor. You know, and so I walk up there ready. You know, because I'd had teachers bring me up in front of the classroom and make fun of me. You know, for not knowing something. And she said, I missed one question on that test. She took her eraser and erased it. And she said, I know you know this answer. What is it? And so I told her, and she wrote it in and put an A+ on my paper. Wow. You know? And
that is learning.
Yeah, totally different. You know?
Well, so we're grading, like I'm grading Rayford's high school stuff for transcripts, right? Because whatever, if we decide to go whatever route he decides to go and wherever God calls him, if it's to college, then he needs to be ready for that. But there's no reason in the world he shouldn't have straight A's, because I can be like, try again. We can sit on this for weeks if we have to. You don't want to, and I don't want to. Try again.
Well, that's the way the Lord deals with this, isn't it? He says, oh,
sorry, fail, get out.
No, he says, hey, we'll just go around the mountain again. We're going to do it 40 years. That's what we'll do.
Another year, let's do it. Yeah. There's not, you know, we have been trained to think that fifth graders should all know the same thing, that eighth graders should all know the same thing, the second graders should all know the same thing, and this, oh, you're not ready to go into the third grade because you don't know all the second grade stuff. Okay, I worked at a couple of universities. Like, I knew college athletes that could not read.
Wow.
That could not read.
Yeah.
Like, they just shoved them through because they were athletes.
That's not
Like,
right.
literally, you know, you hear those stories, but like, I met the dude. I met several of those guys that could not read because no one cared to take a minute to be like, hey, why don't you come to my desk for 5 minutes a day and let's chat? Like, let's learn this thing. Nobody did that for them. And again, you have 35 kids and you need to
Yeah.
do that with 15 or 20 of them. Like, it's a whole situation, right?
Right.
I don't know. I've taught kids to read one at a time, and then I taught 2 of them to read at one time because they're a year apart. And I had the boy is older and the girl is younger, so it works out beautifully with the like maturity level. You know, girls a little more mature earlier, and so it worked out, and they push each other. If I had not done that, he would not be reading at the level he's reading at now. And so I get it with 2 kids, like even with just 2. I can't imagine doing 35 kids at once, 20 kids.
Right.
Right.
And the class size in this community, there have 8 or less. And all they're doing is memory work. Oh, they also do an art project and a science thing, and I don't have to do that at home.
Yeah.
There's plenty of art and science that happen outside of my house, in the mud and dirt and, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's not organized, let's pull out the paints.
Yeah.
I tried to pull out coloring books when my oldest was, I don't know, of coloring age, and he was like, do I have to?
Right.
And for years at churches, we would get the paper that they hand you, like the scribble. He did the obligatory scribble, and he was done.
Yeah.
Both of my older boys did that. They just obligatory scribble and done. They're like, I'm done. Can I just have my snack and move on with life?
Yeah. Yeah.
My girls, I'll be there in a minute. I'm coming. I mean, you know,
Right.
it feels like that. That's never actually how they act, but it feels like that. Like,
Yeah.
what masterpiece did you bring me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know kids your age could go. I didn't know our kids. Mommy, can we get a coloring book? Oh yeah, I forgot. Yes, we'll get coloring books and color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girls are different. Girls are different.
That's true.
Totally different.
That's true.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like coloring, so I was like, yes, I don't have to color. I thought I was going to have to color with these kids. And the boys were like, no, coloring. And I'm like, yes. And then she comes along. She's like, what am I, chopped liver? I'm like, oh, colors, yes.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
want me to color with you? No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah.
Well, you can see that you're able to work with each of the different personalities and the things that I can remember teaching like 3 and 4-year-olds, and we had there were a couple little boys, they absolutely hated coloring. It was like, do I have to do the coloring page? And then, you know, some of the others, they loved it, and they just get inside, you know, trying to stay in the lines, and yeah, you've got, you know, my mom was a school teacher, and I had a sister who she struggled in school, and she was diagnosed with learning disabilities, and my mom had decided she was going to specialize and, you know, go into that, and it didn't work out. She wound up going into remedial reading to teach kids, you know, but I remember her saying one time, in the universities, what they do is they teach teachers, for the most part, how to teach visually, because most teachers are visual learners. And so that's how they teach them. And she said, but that's not how everybody learns. She said, you've got your auditory learners, people that they can listen, and I mean, it just sticks. I don't do that, so I take notes, like whenever you're preaching, or I'm taking notes, because that helps it stick, because I can see something there as well. And then you had your kinetic. Yeah, kinesthetic, yeah. And they have to be in motion, and they have to touch, and they have to do it, and that helps them. And one of the things that I found, like whenever I was teaching like the 3 and 4-year-olds, is that, okay, so I want to have this concept here, this biblical concept that I'm trying to teach. I'm going to show them so they can see it. I'm going to talk to them so they can hear it, and then they're going to do something too. And sometimes it was coloring the page, but a lot of times it was like acting out what we just learned. And that helped get it to stick in them, you know. So I think that, I know that they've learned a lot about how people learn, you know, and there are teachers out there now who do know how to help out with, you know, kids like you. And you realize, you know, they're not stupid. They just don't learn the way that you're teaching. And I remember my mom saying one time, she had this boy who was in the 6th grade, and he was in her remedial reading class, and she found what he loved to talk about. He loved hunting. Loved everything about hunting. And so she had him write a book about hunting, and he drew pictures, and, you know, they put it, like, had the front and back to it and everything, you know, had pictures, the words, and all of it. And he was so proud of that book. And whenever she got through, and they did the testing at the end of the year, he was reading at grade level. He went from 1st grade to reading at grade level, which was 6th, or he would have been about 7th grade at that point. So, and she said, I give all the glory to God for that. But she said, because I can't really do that. But she said it's like God showed her how to teach them. But you got to have a love for the kids in order to do something like that. And
Yeah.
Especially when they're your own.
Yeah, well,
Well,
you
yeah.
do have to like them a little.
yeah, yeah.
You got to have a love for
Yeah,
them.
you do.
Right.
You do.
Yeah.
No, but it's, I always said before I had kids, I was like, kids aren't my favorite, but I'll like my kids. I'll like my kids. And
Yeah.
I do like my kids. But they've taught me how to love other kids well, too.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but, you know, something like that, all it takes is something to unlock it.
Right.
And that creating the reading and creating the words and the thoughts is all, the brain is doing so many things, right?
Right.
When you're reading, you're looking at all these shapes and trying to remember what the shapes mean, because a T is not, it doesn't mean anything without the sound, right? And that
Right.
is just meaning that we've assigned to it.
Right.
It's not the T does not say that universally, right?
Right.
That is not a T everywhere. And so it's just understanding. So we're looking at these pictures and figuring out what it says, and then how these pictures combine with other pictures to make a word. Like, if you break it down like that, it is such a complex thing.
Wow.
And then you're taking it in through your eyes and doing all the work, and then it has to come out your mouth. And it's
Yes.
so complex. Like, there's a God, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Right.
things like that. I'm like, come on, people. Like, yeah, that just.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, but then you go at it at a different way, where they are putting their thoughts on paper. They are thinking the thought, which is easy, right? Oh, I have an idea. But then they're having to translate that into a sentence and then put it on paper and write it, and that's a whole different ballgame. Then they're reading their own writing. That's partly why it works when you take notes, is because you're reading your own writing. There's a
Yeah.
connection. It's like hearing your own voice helps you remember it. And you were talking about that. I have a few kids that if it comes in your ears, it's in there forever. Me, not always. I have to
Yeah.
see it. It has to come out my pen
Yeah.
for me to understand, or I have to do it. You can tell me how to unscrew a bottle lid,
Yeah.
like a lid, but until I do it, it's not locked and loaded.
Yeah.
It's just not. So we
A
all
lot
learn
of, lot of
differently.
people have to hear themselves say something before they are able to get it.
Well, that's what I tell my auditory kids. I say, when you're memorizing this, when you're memorizing, let's see, Rayford's memorizing the presidents and the dates right now of their presidencies, right? My 14-year-old. So he knows all the presidents because they learned that in foundations. There's a song.
Ah,
And so he knows all the presidents, right, in order. Now he's adding the dates. And they're just trying to make him continue memorizing, but memorize good stuff, right? Not
Right.
like anything random. And so I'm telling him, like, if you say it out loud and you hear it, you know it locks and loads when you hear it. So, but when it comes from your voice to your ear, it is that much more solidified.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, they've done studies on that kind of thing. So writing, seeing your own handwriting and hearing your own voice.
Wow.
A child that's trying to learn in a setting and they're not getting it, not able to perceive it, it's unbelievably frustrating for those children. And in every way. And so it actually causes a lot of emotional trauma. It causes mental blocks. It causes physical. You know, I used to, when I was in school, I would break out in hives all over, you know, and it was a physical response to the frustration.
Right.
And, you know, because I couldn't read, I would get partway through a sentence and I'd have to start over. I'd never get to the end of that sentence, you know, so consequently, when I graduated high school, I'd never read a full paragraph in a book. But you know what my favorite class was, or my favorite thing was? Spelling.
That's predictable.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's kind of like math where it's always the same. Like
Yeah.
that word is always going to
Well,
be spelled the
it was
same.
shapes. And when I saw a shape, I knew it. I learned in shapes and patterns.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't really spelling out the word. It was the
Recreating the
patterns.
shape.
It was the shapes. And so I never understood that for several years because I could spell really good. I always did. I did great in school in spelling.
Yeah.
And but it was the shapes and the patterns. And so when you learn how your brain works, then you're able to educate in anything. You know, I had a granddaughter that was having trouble in school, and the teachers were, you know, saying she's got a disability and all this kind of stuff, and so they had her tested. Thankfully, the guy that tested her has studied this thing and is educated on it.
Nice.
And after he tested her, he come out and said, she doesn't have a disability, she's a genius. He said, she just doesn't learn, she learns in, she got it from me, she learns in shapes and patterns and stuff like that. And so it wasn't the fact that she wasn't able to learn, it's the fact that she needed to be able to learn in a certain way.
Right.
You know, and so there when a child is in that situation, whether it's homeschool, public school, Christian school, doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is.
Yeah.
When they're being pressured to understand something, and it's not communicating to them, it's extremely traumatic for that child.
Yeah.
It's not just frustrating, it's traumatic.
Yeah.
And because they're being pressured,
Right.
and they're feeling like they're not capable, they're not on everybody else's level. But then you put them in the right situation, right setting, and next thing you know, they're excelling. And so that's what I've been advocating for years, is that learning how a child can excel, and they will self-educate.
They will.
Yeah.
They will. I mean, these kids, there's a theme for every year, and it goes from just in seventh grade, they're learning how this whole new thing, we call it challenge, how challenge works, how this curriculum and challenge works, because it's new to them. They've learned all these facts that are going to be useful to them throughout the next 6 years. But they have to learn what do we do with all this information that we've just finished learning and whatever. And so that's a little bit frustrating for them, just because they're like, what is happening to my life? But they are taking ownership of their education. That's what we want to do, is give them ownership of their education and go into more of a, I'm not telling you have to do I'm telling you have to do your work, right? But I'm not having to sit there and be like, okay, did you dot your T's and cross your I's? Because you did it because you know that it's important. And so I'm less over my oldest, my ninth grader's shoulder all the time, because I see that my education is important. I'm here for it. Like, he doesn't like every piece of it, right?
Right.
Nobody likes every piece of it, and it's painful to grow. And so there are some growing pains that he has to deal with, but it's that process, and he is learning to appreciate it, I guess, and work through it.
But he's investing.
He's invested.
Okay.
And the idea with this curriculum is they work all week, and then they come together and talk about what they did. So they're not learning something new necessarily when they get together. They're talking about all the things they did learn. So it's not a teacher standing up there and saying, blah, 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 wah, 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 right? It's not that. It is, I dug into this book, and this is what I got out of it. What did you get out of it?
Yeah.
And what did you get out of it? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Well, I don't agree with that part of it. I mean, that was close, but I don't agree with that. And so we can have a debate about it. You know what I mean? And so they get together, and so they're motivated to do it because everybody else in class did their work and you didn't. So there's a little peer pressure there, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's the process of this curriculum, which works out, so.
So you would recommend this curriculum to people, wouldn't you?
Only a little.
Only,
I would recommend it if you're willing to put the work in.
yeah.
But people drop it because it's hard. And I say, we can do hard things. Buckle up.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
Buckle up,
Boy.
Buttercup. That's awesome. Well, might as well let them know, as they're growing up, sometimes life is tough.
I mean, when's the easiest part of your life? Like today or when you were 15?
Yeah.
Like what worries did you have when you were 15?
Yeah.
Like not a lot usually, right?
I was afraid
Yeah.
I was going to get caught by my parents.
Right? Right?
Yes, yeah.
Right. That was the stress of your life.
Yeah, now I have to
And-
worry about the IRS.
Right.
So,
That's
but I
being-
pay
right.
my taxes, though. Yes, my taxes are paid. So,
Who's watching this? Is it confession time?
no, we're good on taxes.
Well, we appreciate you guys.
Yes,
And
we do.
appreciate your kids.
Thank
And
you.
the pastors in kids' church
Mm-hmm.
have actually told me that your children help teach. And so,
I've
not in a
heard
bad way.
No,
but-
no, I've heard,
Yeah,
we get, I'm like, what, how did it go today?
yeah. And so,
They're using our
that's
debate
really
skills,
good.
I think.
Yeah.
you know, you're kind of bucking the mindless sheep society type thing, and by teaching kids how to learn and think on their own, and I like it.
And how to argue.
Yeah.
So, how to
It
argue.
sounds crazy,
I have
but
never,
it is a thing.
I have never heard a parent talk about teaching their children how to argue.
And here we are.
Most of the time, we're saying, stop arguing.
Right, but if you want them to argue and stand up for what's right, you need to teach them how to stand up for what's right and argue. And
Oh,
you
my
can be
goodness.
the wall
Yep.
that they run into every day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
I've got some granddaughters that never quit, and I can't imagine, you know, I guess I need to start scoring them and, you know, teach them and, you know, I don't know.
Teach them fallacies. Teach them logical fallacies. There's books.
It's like
Yeah.
if you don't be quiet right now.
Then they can just find all the logical fallacies and you put them to be like, go find the logical fallacy here. They
Yeah.
love to do it. They love to tell people they're wrong. They love to tell
Oh,
adults
I'll
they're wrong.
guarantee you.
So
Yeah.
go watch the news and tell me how many logical fallacies you find tonight.
Wow. All
good
right.
idea.
Well, thank you for
Yes.
coming
you, guys.
and expounding on the glories of homeschooling. And I hope that other parents are able to catch on to this and actually get to where it's not something that is a trauma to parents and children both, because that's what it ends up being a lot of times. It's the parents feel like failures and the kids just end up angry.
Yep.
And so we don't, that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do that. You know how to do that. So
I
we're
mean,
going to
I
make,
felt like a failure and they felt frustrated too. So
yeah,
we've all been there.
yeah, we're going to make you the administrator of,
Goody. You send whoever you want to my way and I'll
of all
talk to
things that
them.
need to be fixed.
That.
Yeah. Well, how about praying for the parents that are not doing real well right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Father God, thank you so much for this, this church body. Thank you for the leadership here, and thank you for their desire to improve this body and the community. God, I pray for all the parents that are currently homeschooling their kids and not feeling like they're winning. God, I ask that you would just give them a community to join up with, even if it's one other family, to join with, to fight the good fight. God, I pray that you will just give these parents strategies to teach their kids. Give them ideas, crazy as they may seem, to try, and to just unlock these keys, use the keys to unlock these doors of these kids' minds, because God, you made these kids' minds and they know how to learn and you know exactly how they need to learn. So give these parents this, the strategies to do that. And God, I pray for all those parents who aren't homeschooling their kids. I pray that you will just encourage them to dig into what their kids are learning and what their kids are up to and just stay engaged. God, thank you for all those Christian parents out there who are doing that. And we praise you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Amen. Thank you. Thank you guys for
you.
joining tonight.